Hello, YouTube. Ignore all the damage on the table. Jeez. Anyway, we are back today with another video. Today is a blast from the past in 2014? 13? 14? One of the two? Today, we are taking a look at which is better. Well, it's a review of one figure and kind of which is better. Today we are looking at Thrilling 30s Blitzing. Now I got this figure sealed from eBay. Here's the box. Yeah, let's raise this up so I can show you. I recorded this video once before, however, while clearing up space on my phone, I accidentally deleted it, so... yeah. But, here's a nice picture of Blitzing. Transformers Generations. There's the barcode and stuff. Yeah, this was sealed. It's really cool. The Decepticon emblem. The grid background, or the, background. Thrilling 30s, triple change to robot jet to robot to jet to tank. Blitzing. Ages 5 and up. Is a level 2 intermediate. Thrilling 30s, Hasbro. On the side of the box, you just have Thrilling 30s, Decepticon, Blitzing, a nice picture there of the toy. On this side, you have continuation of this artwork, as well as a Decepticon symbol. On the back of the box, you have... why does it feel like my phone is tilted? Anyway. Yeah, back of the box, you have, the Transformers Generations, Thrilling 30s, brief bio, if you want to read it. Obligatory product shots. Triple changer, robot to jet to tank. Launching missile. It doesn't launch that well, but whatever. Tech specs. Some poses may require additional support. Product blah blah blah. Join us online. IDW Publishing. There's a QR code. There you go. Free scan on me if you want. The bottom you have your cross sales. Sold separately. Springer. Distributed in Australia. This is from Australia? Okay. Obviously, like, this, I don't know, did it always say distributed in Australia by Hasbro Australia because I got this from an American seller. I just noticed this as, anyway, proof of purchase, Transformers Collectors Club. Remember when that was a thing? Yeah. Anyway. So, here is Blitzwing. And he is a tan and purple tank. Are you shocked? I am. Yeah, he's actually a pretty decent looking tank in my opinion. He has a little gappy at the back, but it's really only noticeable if you rotate the turret this far. A little gappy up here, but this was a while ago. And triple changers were not exactly as good back then. But, got some nice detailing. The dreads on these sections. The landing gears for the jet mode are like guns, which is really cool. And yeah, turret. Turret has visible tail fins. Oh well. But yeah, he does roll, as rolling things should. He has, 4 of these clip-on wheels. The turret does rotate off-center, so it looks like that. But it does do a full 360. If you undo the turret section, you can kind of get the barrel to point upwards like that. But that makes things come undone. But yeah. And he has a firing missile. You just pull back on the tank turret. Fume. You want to see that again? Okay, let's Pume. Yeah. Insert masturbation joke here. He does come with his weapons. He has his gun. Kind of wish he came with 2 of them, but you know, whatever. And he has his giant purple sword, which is nice. You can store them a couple different ways. You can these screw holes right here can, like, if you know, you can actually plug them into there. But what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to plug the sword up here into this port right here, which sometimes you have to get under the turret to do. And then you're supposed to plug the gun right up top here. Which, hey, that works. I like thinking this is like an extra turret, because a lot of tanks do have, you know, a little turret next to the main cannon. So hey, I'd say this works. Now, for comparison, here he is with Thrilling 30 Sandstorm. Since I don't know where my Springer went. He fell, I just can't be bothered to get him out right now. Here he is with Legacy United Sandstorm. Here he is with the 86 Optimus mold, which is, this version is currently Nemesis, you know. And here he is with Legacy Blitzwing. Now this is where I say it's kind of, this review is going to be also kind of a which is better. There's going to be another one probably next week. Because as you saw, I have, you know, both Sandstorms, so. Yeah, when it comes to tank mode, I have to say probably Legacy does it a little bit better. Even with the, you know, cockpit right there. Yeah. That being said, I don't think Thrilling 30's tank is bad by any means. I just think each one of them had a little bit more effort put into one mode than the other. In my opinion, you know, they definitely tried to get the tank, you know, perfect with Legacy, whereas they tried to get the jet more perfect with Thrilling 30s. At least that's my point of view. So, you know. Speaking of jets, let's get to that, shall we? Because it's already 8 minutes. So, you were going to pop the weapons off. Don't need them right now. We are going to... what are we going to do? We're going to untab the turret and kind of bring it out for now. Bring the cannon all the way back. You can then rotate these sections of the turret, which will plug in right where they did in tank mode, only with this tab instead of this tab. Just like that. Just like that. What you're then going to want to do is you're going to want to come to the turret, kind of rotate it outwards, and then pull it out. You're going to want to kind of, you know, rotate it down and then out. Fold these sections in. Push this together. You're going to want to come here to the turret, and it'll eject the wing. You want to pull it out like this, so you can then fold this section up in like this. Here's the other side. You are then going to want to just collapse the turret, or the treads like that. And kind of position this. I wouldn't worry about positioning this yet, but you know. And like that. Then you're going to want to kind of do the reverse of how you got the treads out. You know, kind of, you know, go in at an angle and then straighten it out. Making sure everything goes under the chest like that. And then you've got that side all done. The second side is exactly the same as the first. Just like that. You're also going to want to take these little panels right here and slide them out, just to kind of fill in that little section on the wing. You are then going to want to, there's these little tabs that'll go into the turret right there to keep it from rotating, just like that. You're going to want to come under here and fold the nose cone out, so it, is like that. You're going to want to shift the barrel in like that. Then you're going to want to open the tail fins. Go ahead and fold out the landing gear, and you are done. That is, well, and also make sure the tails are positioned correctly. Anyway, there you have Thrilling 30's Blitzing in jet mode. And yeah, I honestly really like this jet. Is it perfect? Hell no. I mean, just look at that. But, and I do think the cockpit is a little oversized compared to the wings, but I mean, let's go ahead and get a taller vantage point so I can show things off a little bit better. Yeah, jet. It is an impressive size, I will give it that. Yeah. You can kind of open the cockpit a little bit, but, you really need to, move the nose cone down a little bit for it to even open that much, so I wouldn't recommend it. Mine's nose cone does not like staying together, oh well. You can still attach weapons. The sword, you can plug it up here, and it, kind of helps with the gap. You can also plug it in under here. The gun, you can plug in, here, 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 wherever you want, really. But, yeah. So, that is the jet mode. Now, on to comparisons. Here he is with Thrilling 30 Sandstorm. They look decent together. Here he is with the 86 Optimus mold. I'd say they look pretty decent together. Blitzwing is still severely undersized, but here they are with, here he is with 86 Bone Crusher. I don't think I actually showed that off in the tank mode. Oh well. Yeah, 86 Bone Crusher. Mine does not like to stay together. I will get to that in his video. And here he is with Legacy. Now, on first glance, Legacy is better from a top point of view, like this. Like this. However, then you start seeing, the entirety of the tank hanging underneath. Whereas for this, the only tank bit you really get is the cannon. It's a toss-up. I think Thrilling 30 had a bit more effort put into its jet mode. Not saying Legacy's jet mode is bad by any means, especially if you factor in the fact that you can use the tank bits as a flight stand. And that makes the jet look 110 times better. But still, Another thing you kind of have to consider is they did this on a 2010s Voyager budget. They did this on a 2020 liter budget. So, yeah, there's a lot going on there. But these two are also going for two completely different things. This is supposed to be completely animation accurate. That tank bit, that tank under the jet is G1 cartoon accurate. It is. It is accurate to the G1 cartoon. Take literally any screenshot of Blitzwing's jet mode. Whereas this is trying to be its own thing. So, again, they are going for two very, very different things. That being said, I like Thrilling 30 better. But let's get him out of here for now, because we have one more transformation to go through. I'm gonna go ahead and pop off the weapons, set those off to the side, grab my box to raise the camera, and let's get started into robot mode. So, first thing you want to do, fold up the landing gear. You're then going to want to undo the legs, same way for tank mode and stuff. Bring them down, rotate it so the wing is facing the like this on the cockpit. Rotate his feet so this fin is facing up, or facing the purple. Open the feet. You're going to want to fold this in and then fold this in a little bit, just so it's not completely sticking out. You're going to want to do the same thing on this side. Open the feet. Flip that. And we have him standing with a massive cockpit. You're going to want to come back here and kind of open up the turret section. So you can then take the cannon and swing it back for now. So you can then bring the cockpit up like this. Then you can raise your camera. You are then going to want to take these sections and fold them upwards like this. Fold them up. And rotate it so that way this bit is facing outwards. Then you are going to want to bring the shoulder down on this hinge, and then down on this hinge. The shoulders should tab in, but there is a huge problem with this figure where these two panels were too far apart. Now, I did take mine apart and sand it down, and it works a little bit better, but as you can see, it'll still pop that up. It does it a little bit more on this side. And you can kind of bring the shoulder, flex the shoulders back a little bit to help them lock in, but they still will come out. You are then going to want to fold these sections in, kind of filling up a little bit of the hollow space and revealing the hands. You are then going to bring the nose cone out, and that'll in turn bring up the head. And what I do is I actually unclip the torso, then kind of try and slide the nose cone in, so you can then position the cannon and then all of that. And a bada bing, a bada boom, there is Thrilling 30's Blitzing in robot mode, and fuck yes, I love this robot mode. But yeah, I really, really like this robot mode. It has flaws, don't get me wrong, it has its flaws, quite a few of them, but I like it. I think I like it better than Legacy, honestly. That could be because this has a lot of animated influence, and I absolutely love animated. Animated has probably my favorite version of Blitzwing, as well as my favorite version of Shockwave, who is currently in long arm form. I genuinely love both of them, and it's probably the closest I'm going to be getting to having an animated Blitzwing in my collection for a while. You can see the animated influence, the treads being visible on the legs, the cockpit and the downswept wings. That's all animated inspired. It does something else animated inspired that it advertised on the box that I will go over here in just a little bit. Yeah. Here is the classic Blitzwing face sculpt. Looks angry. Murr, murr. Oh yeah, the sculpting is all really cool. But yeah, the cannon does kind of stick off at an angle and can bend the nose cone, which is why I usually unclip the chest before I do that. Yeah, and I also usually have him leaning back a little bit because his so he can face forward. Because his head is sculpted downward. But yeah. Articulation-wise, the head can only swivel. It's a little bit of a shame, but I'll show you why here in just a minute. Arm can rotate. I am squeezing the chest, because if I don't, well then that's what happens. Even with mine having the fix. I just need to shave it down a little bit more, and hopefully that'll do it. But anyway, 360 can go upwards at this joint, all the way due to transformation. Bicep rotation. 90 degrees of bend at the elbow. And you have wrist rotation on a 2014-2013 figure? Hell yeah. Just bend the arms back. No waist rotation due to how he transforms, but you do get a good bit of upwards kick, a good bit of backwards kick, a really good bit of outwards kick, thigh rotation, a really high up knee, but, you know, it's a knee nonetheless, and it gets you over, slightly over 90 degrees. And the feet are on ball joints. Rotate, pivot, you know, whatever. Forward, back. This figure, like, give it a waist and a little bit better movement at the head. And this is on par with modern figures for articulation. Hell, it is better articulated than, you know, a modern figure. But, you know, I digress. He can hold his weapons. I don't know if you can store them. Like, you do have access to the screw ports that you could have used in vehicle mode, but, you know, you do have. He can hold his sword. He can hold his gun, which he does kind of have to hold a little bit off center, but whatever. And again, there is that chest problem. And I'll go ahead and show off the gimmick that really made me want this figure, and is why I'm okay not having an animated Blitzwing for a little bit, because he does the animated Blitzwing face change thing. So this is the normal Blitzwing, who in animated would be the, you know, we will crush them into scrap metal face. You fold it up, and he has the crazy Blitzwing face. The one that suggested that they scan both a jet and a tank. And then you have the more sophisticated, more, you know, the more sane of the Blitzwing faces. This is actually the one I display him with, because this was the main one he used in animated. And as you can see, there's actually a little bit of the yellow starting to scrape off. You can really see it in the back. The yellow's scraping off a little bit. Oh, and also mine has a slight breakage issue. Yeah. On the right side, you can kind of see how the face change gimmick works. Yeah, he came out of the box like that. Which, you know, is a little unfortunate, but it doesn't hamper my enjoyment, because, you know, you do have to work a little bit to have it come off. It's not just gonna fall off. Yeah, and you can, you know, lean him forward and you can still use the the missile, which is really, really cool. I really like this figure, despite all of its faults. Now, for comparison, here he is with the Thrilling 30 Sandstorm. Look at the camera, asshole. Who is leaning back. This figure does not like to stand. It never has. You know. There. Don't ask why mine has a Decepticon emblem. My Sandstorm, this Sandstorm is a mercenary, so. Here he is with a modern day deluxe class figure. Bone Crusher. I'm never gonna not laugh at this guy's proportions. He has the DX9 proportions, despite being based heavily off the Combiner Wars figure. Here he is with the 86 Prime mold, which, as you can see, they are actually very similarly, very similar in height. And a Commander class figure is the same height as an old Voyager class figure. Let that sink in. Anyway. And finally, here he is with his modern-day counterpart, Legacy Blitzwing. Like I said, these two are going for two completely different things. If you're wanting, G1 accuracy, you go with Legacy. If you're, wanting something that's different, but harkens back to, the two most famous iterations of Blitzwing, Animated and G1, you go with Thrilling 30s. Neither are perfect. Both make heavy sacrifices in one mode or the other. But, all in all, I don't think you can really go wrong with either. I mean, the only thing this guy really has, at least in articulation, that this guy doesn't, other than the ability to look up a little bit, is just a waist. And he can have that because of the way he transforms. He can't. But also, he has forward and back motion at his feet. He doesn't. But, they both have the basics, arms can move. His can move a little bit more upwards, but that's transformation. And, his arms are a little bit less limited than his, but still, they have arm articulation. They have shoulder, elbow, wrist, hip. They both have really good articulation. That's the point I'm trying to make. But, all in all, it's your decision. Personally, I like Thrilling 30 a little bit better. Enough that I'm going to keep this as my Blitzwing. And I might end up customizing him into something else. Maybe I'll give him Bumblebee movie colors. For like a Legacy Bumblebee movie Blitzwing. Or something. I don't know quite what I'm going to do yet. I might, take off the tank bits and turn him into a Seeker. I might, turn him into just more of a tank soldier. I don't know. But, yeah. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, I do recommend getting him. He's not that expensive on the aftermarket, really. Like I said, I got mine sealed for like $40. I got him for less than this guy. So, if you can find him for cheap, go for it. Beware, you will have to sand down or shave down the plastic in the chest a little bit, but, And, that's really only if you don't want this to happen every time you move the arms. If you're okay with that, then you don't have to. Yeah. I highly recommend this figure. So that is it for today's video. Leave a like, comment down below, subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Peace.